Yo, what's up, it's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're watching Patrick CC. Oh, Justin Bieber barely survived Hollywood, man. Justin Bieber, man, you know what I'm saying? Came out popping when he was fucking, 13 or something, man. That shit crazy, man. And he's still doing his thing. I don't know what he about to talk about. I know he went through some few rough patches, but that's a part of growing up, though. You know, he just happened to grow up in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it.
Justin Bieber is probably the last person on earth you feel bad for.
I ain't know that nigga was that tatted.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed tween made a few YouTube videos singing in 2007, got swooped up by the major record labels, and they forced his generic pop songs onto us. Then every young girl in the world became obsessed with him, making him millions of dollars and keeping his songs in rotation on the radio. He was an easy person to hate, or just completely disregard. However, in the early 2010s, he started to change. He was lashing out in public, assaulting people, and starting to confirm people's suspicions of him being a snobby rich brat. And although this video is not going to be me trying to convince you that Justin Bieber is an unproblematic saint, there is another perspective to consider that might make his antics a little understandable. For example,
I saw that video where he was getting sexually harassed and shit by older women.
Or harassed in public.
Yeah.
Can I say this? Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
It isn't very difficult to see how uncomfortable Justin is. James Corden is leaning in as close as he possibly can with his hand resting on Justin's back.
Thank you so much. Look at him. Look at what a beautiful face. All right.
Rubbing Justin's face was just disrespectful, but he couldn't resist touching the boy. Bieber awkwardly tries to go along with the joke, but James makes it even worse.
Voted to just do it. Don't mess around. Don't tease me, Bieber.
People couldn't keep their hands off Justin, including Katy Perry, who had to get herself a handful as she mouths to the camera, "Sorry, Selena." At the end of this interaction, Justin says, "We can do that forever if you want," which made some people think that he was okay with this behavior. Even David Letterman put his hands on Justin. During the 2012
I'm pretty sure
he
cool
David
with Katy,
insisted on denouncing Justin's tattoos.
Is that a new tattoo?
This is a new tattoo.
Oh, God, how many do you have?
I have a couple, just a couple.
Well, tell me that's the last one.
It might be.
No, it is. You don't, I mean, honestly.
David decided to treat Justin like his son's troubled friend looking for guidance, even though it was never asked for. Funny thing is, Justin ended up doing exactly what David told him not to do. But Letterman took it too far when he put his hands on Justin.
You know, I got believe.
Get that off of there.
Hey.
Although this one wasn't explicit in nature, it was still totally uncalled for. David would later apologize for his behavior, but it's odd to see how many people were so willing to put their hands on the boy. Luckily, he was able to prevent Leah Remini from getting her hands on him during this interview.
Man,
The Talk.
not her. I like kings and queens, man.
Justin had to shout no 5 times before she would stop, but that's not all. Earlier in this segment, she was forcing him to answer a really strange would you rather question.
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song?
There's little girls in the audience. What's
a cup of blended worms. Answer Justin Bieber.
For no reason at all, Leah insisted on pushing this very sexual question while there are little girls and boys directly behind her in the audience. Justin realized he was trapped because no matter what he tried to say, she was trying to force the answer she wanted out of him, but he stood his ground and chose to not give in to her manipulation. This wasn't the first time Justin stood his ground when a host got sexual with him. While doing a radio show called Mojo in the Morning, the host, Shannon Murphy, brought the conversation in a strange direction.
Has your mom given you a sex talk yet? I mean, like, I really don't want to have that conversation with my mother. Yeah. Like I've kind of had it with my father.
You want to hear? Oh, really? See, my parents never gave me the sex talk.
Okay.
So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
He very clearly stated that he was uncomfortable when the host brought up sex, but the circumstances that built up to this are a bit confusing because earlier in the conversation, this happened.
Justin, what are you going to be doing after the show tonight? I thought I was picking you up.
Now, when I was 15 years old, I probably would have said some dumb stuff like that to an older girl, but apparently Justin couldn't keep his hands to himself.
That little kid.
I think that was a little joke from a 15-year-old boy.
He is.
Wow, got a little too touchy-feely with you?
he wasn't just like patting my butt, he was grabbing my butt, and he kept saying, "Is it inappropriate? Is this inappropriate?"
Oh my!
And he
how,
would
how
grab it harder and go, "Is it inappropriate now? Is it inappropriate now?"
You
Oh my
let him.
gosh, he's kissing me. Here, come sit here. Come, come sit with me right here. Dude,
She letting it happen
just,
though.
like comes up and you just started making out with me. You know that?
Is that not appropriate?
Justin was obviously flirting with Shannon in a juvenile way. Then she said live on air how Justin was touching and kissing her. We can imagine there were definitely some instances where Justin felt like he could probably touch whoever and whatever he wanted, since, well, it was often done to him. But regardless, the 26-year-old shouldn't have brought up the sex conversation on the air. Even men were infatuated with young Bieber. L.A. Reid, music executive,
she let
who
it keep
signed
going
Justin
though.
to his
Like she
first
wanted,
major
like
record deal,
that
said,
shit weird.
"This kid was beautiful, like a woman can be beautiful, and men rarely are." And he turned it on as soon as he stepped into the room. He recalls how Bieber had grown his hair down, almost covering his eyes.
My fault, sorry. Let me get my thought out real quick. In that situation, you asked the older, even though Justin, if Justin was all over her like she said she was, like she said he was, you as the older person need to, the more mature person in that situation need to, hey, stop that. That's inappropriate. You can't do that. Bam, bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? Bam, bam, bam. Dead the shit right there. But she will keep letting that happen, letting that little 15-year-old boy touch and kiss all over her. Because apparently that's showing me that she liked it.
And says he could see immediately that Justin's hair would be every bit as important as his songs, his voice, his face, or his presence. Justin was simply beautiful. He gushes. His superpower was his face. The context of this article makes it seem like L.A. Reid was attracted to the young Bieber, but we don't really know that for sure. He was definitely right about his star power, but how he came to that conclusion just seems a little odd. However, the most deplorable assault was by Jenny McCarthy at the 40th Annual American Music Awards.
Ew.
Wow! I feel violated right now.
A shocked Justin Bieber couldn't say anything but the truth. "I feel violated right now." By this point, this was all too common for him. The craziest part is that Jenny straight up admitted to her crimes.
I took the opportunity in the window, considering I'll never get to do it again, and kind of molested him. It'd be like cougar rape.
Jenny clearly enjoys the predatory behavior, as she described it as molestation.
They don't care about us.
R-word.
They don't care about men
she
for
thinks
real.
it's cute and quirky.
They don't
and
care
even
about
bragged
us,
about it on Twitter
young men
after.
for real.
Now, if this all happened while the cameras were on, could you imagine what happened while the cameras were off? Just like many child stars, Justin turned to drugs. Every teenager experiments, but he was trying to cope and escape, which led to behavior that left a permanent stain on his reputation. For all the people that hated Justin, he was about to give them a stronger reason.
This the
And
smoking
for all the
weed
people
shit
with
you about to talk
unrealistic
about? 'Cause that shit was
expectations, they were
weird.
about to be crushed. His first controversy began in 2013 when TMZ leaked photos of him holding what appeared to be a blunt. Although Justin faced no charges for the incident, this was our first clue that Bieber was beginning to shed his wholesome image. Things took a turn for the worse later that same year. While on the European leg of his Believe tour, Justin stopped in England just in time for his 19th birthday. Later that day...
I'm sorry, hold on. I remember the weed thing. I remember his fans was fucking... Some of his fans were fucking cutting themselves and shit, talking about, oh, Bieber don't smoke weed. Like, it was crazy. I remember that shit. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And I don't even smoke weed. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But that shit was crazy. And I know, like, damn, that's not even that serious, bro. It wasn't that serious at all.
Bieber tweeted, "Big night ahead," anticipating his birthday celebration. He and his entourage had planned a $8,000 birthday bash,
Let me know if
booking
y'all
tables at
remember
the
that
Cirque
shit,
du
bro.
Soleil Club in Soho. Unfortunately, the celebration didn't meet expectations after members of Justin's entourage were denied entry into the club because a few of the members of Bieber's party were under the suitable age of 18. Justin tweeted, "Worst birthday," complimented with a message to his Instagram account, voicing his side of the story. "I love how the club wanted to give the press another reason why we didn't stay at their weak-ass club, so they wouldn't look bad for me walking in and right back out." People thought Justin felt entitled to come into another country and break the rules because he is a star. From there, he allegedly showed up 2 hours late for his debut show at the O2 Arena after throwing a massive tantrum. Several backstage sources claim Bieber was in a bad mood after waking up late because of a night out and proceeded to lock himself in his dressing room to play computer games. The crowd reportedly began booing at about 9:30 p.m., almost an hour before Justin ultimately hit the stage. If the week couldn't get any worse, Justin lashed out at a photographer outside his London hotel after the man called him a f***ing little moron.
you say? You heard what I said, man. What'd you say? You heard what
You say? What you say? You get your little ass in my fault. I'm about to be serious. Serious.
Fuck you, prick. Back. All right? That's all. Little. What are you doing?
I just love the irony of this situation. The photographer tries to get a rise out of Justin, then Justin responds with threats, then the photographer gets really mad at Justin for getting mad at him, and the guy also taking a video of the situation gets upset when someone starts filming him. It's ridiculous. He responded on Twitter by saying he had a rough morning and that he let his emotions get the best of him, but this incident started his lifelong beef with the paparazzi. In June of 2013, Justin and his entourage were involved in an altercation with a photographer outside the
Were
hit
niggas
factory
blaming like
studio in
Roscoe
Miami.
Dash or some
The
shit?
entire
Not
exchange
was
was
it
caught
Roscoe
on tape.
Dash? Oh, whoever that little nigga from Young Money for his behavior. That shit was wild too.
Later that same day, Justin was skateboarding outside the Hit Factory when another photographer began snapping photos of him. Bieber's bodyguards allegedly rushed the photographer, and one started choking him. The photographer claimed that he grabbed his camera and removed the memory cards. It seemed like every few months there was another controversy, just slowly chipping away at his reputation. Like when he peed in a cleaning bucket while partying. Justin and his friends left a nightclub through the restaurant's back entrance before stopping to relieve himself in the kitchen, more specifically in the bucket that is filled with water to clean the floors. This is just another inconsiderate drunk teenager doing what a million others have done before, but Justin should know better. Then while passing through China during the Asia leg of his Believe tour, a picture was posted of him being carried up the stairs, which caused people on the internet to label him as a diva. His controversies were definitely minor in the beginning. He was being heavily criticized, attacked in blogs and by TMZ for the situation that were pretty small, but the controversies just never stopped. The coverage got more detailed, and the reactions just got worse, including the time he caused an entire revolution in Colombia. In November 2013, Justin was undergoing the Latin American section of his Believe tour. While in Bogota, Colombia, Justin snuck out of his hotel to do graffiti in an area where graffiti is banned. He painted a marijuana leaf and the Canadian flag while the police provided him with security. We aren't sure why the police decided to protect him, and the locals were outraged, because 2 years prior, a police officer shot and killed an unarmed 16-year-old kid while he was spraying graffiti in an area similar to the one where Justin did his. Rebellion against law enforcement broke out because if Justin Bieber can spray graffiti, so can they. And if the police protected Justin, they should defend graffiti artists instead of harassing and incarcerating them. 300 artists came together and occupied the area where Justin sprayed his graffiti, and over 24 hours painted more than 700 pieces of graffiti.
Damn.
Justin Bieber was the cause for all of this to happen. The poor dude had no idea what he sparked, said one of the young graffiti artists. The rebellious graffiti trend spread like wildfire to other major cities across Colombia, with hundreds of other artists joining the movement. He also had a spitting problem, with multiple reports over the years of him spitting on people during violent outbursts, including his own fans, who were visiting him outside of his hotel in Toronto where he spat down on them, breaking out into laughter with his buddies. Then he took a photo of his view, which was posted on Instagram sporting a caption about how he has the best fans in the world. In 2014, he spat in his neighbor's face after a heated argument, which started by Justin driving his Ferrari at over 100 miles per hour down the road. When his neighbor confronted him at the front doorstep, Justin told him to get the F out of here, before spitting in Jeff's face and saying, "I'm gonna effing kill you." A year later, he had another altercation with the same neighbor, which resulted in Justin throwing 24 eggs at his neighbor's house.
Hey, fuck you, asshole!
Oh, this that Kevin Hart joke. I know he.
Call the cops.
Months later, Justin pleaded no contest to 1 count of misdemeanor vandalism for the incident. In exchange for the plea, he was ordered to pay $80,000 in restitution and to stay away from his former neighbor and the neighbor's family for 2 years. By this point, Justin kind of proved he was a privileged boy with an attitude problem, but this last controversy would send him spiraling down. In June of 2014, a video emerged of the 15-year-old Justin telling racist jokes about black people, using the N-word multiple times. As the video went viral, Justin issued an apology, stating, "I thought it was okay to repeat hurtful words and jokes, but I didn't realize at the time that it wasn't funny and that, in fact, my actions were continuing the ignorance." Some people gave him the benefit of the doubt, that he was young and dumb, but then a second video showing a 15-year-old Justin circulated. Similar to the first, he sang his own song, "One Less Lonely Girl," replacing the lyrics with "One Less Lonely" and using the hard R, stating that if he were to kill one, he would be part of the KKK. He apologized again a day later and was released, stating, Facing my mistakes from years ago has been one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with, but I feel I need to take responsibility for those mistakes and not let them linger. At the end of the day, I just need to step up and own what I did. Once again, I'm sorry for all of those I let down and offended. I don't think I really need to explain why people were absolutely outraged with this. And for a lot of people, once they saw these videos, their mind was made up about Justin Bieber, and they're never going to change their mind. And I can't blame them for that. Justin dragged his reputation to an all-time low. He was stamped as just another child star gone mad. After a drunk driving incident in Miami, he was never the same. Justin was seen at SET nightclub in Miami Beach, Florida. He left the venue driving a yellow Lamborghini before police spotted him in a residential neighborhood. Bieber's entourage allegedly blocked the street so he could drag race singer Khalil, who was driving a red Ferrari. Authorities initially conducted a traffic stop for drag racing, but arrested Justin once they realized he was intoxicated. He was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence, driving with an over 6-month expired license, and resisting arrest without violence. His mugshot depicting him smiling was concerning to fans. Police claimed Bieber told authorities he consumed alcohol, smoked marijuana, and took prescription drugs. He and Khalil were locked up in a jail cell for 10 hours. Justin was later released from these charges on a $2,500 bond. A toxicology report revealed that Bieber had THC and Xanax in his system at the time of his arrest. Following Bieber's arrest on the DUI charge, more than 270,000 people petitioned the White House seeking to have him deported from the United States. Although the number of signatures received was sufficient to require a response under published White House guidelines, the Obama administration didn't take the petition seriously. But it turns out behind the scenes, Justin had a much worse drug problem than people realized.
There was a time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything. And it was just an escape for me. I was just young.
Justin's drug abuse got so bad, he was even caught in the most dangerous areas of Los Angeles buying drugs.
Good, homie. MS gang. Nice seeing you, bro. Have a good one. I just saw Bieber. I just seen Bieber. Leave it to Bieber. That's crazy.
His addiction got so bad, he was willing to put his own life at risk. Justin says his substance use was normal in the beginning, but gradually became a problem to escape from the pressure of being this pop star. And although many people look at that as suffering from success, the level of expectation he needs to meet is unattainable. Surely a lot of his controversies were deplorable, but the ones that were minor were treated just...
You know what's crazy? Comparing like a black star to a white star, like, nigga could once... Because a white star, you know what I'm saying, they held to such a high standard, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, super, super high standard. You know what I'm saying? So, once you start fucking up, the white media, what's the white media done with you? Them niggas, they treat them like shit. Like Britney Spears, you know what I'm saying? Like, people like that, they treat them like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy. So Justin Bieber had to hold up this when he was younger. He had to hold up this standard for so long that he turned out to do drugs and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to keep up.
That likely led to him giving up on his health, his body, and lashing out since they were going to criticize him anyways. He couldn't go out on a bad note though. So he made one last push after teaming up with Skrillex to produce a number of different sounds. Where Are You Now? Then What Do You Mean? Which was his first #1 hit single. Sorry, which kind of doubled as his apology to the world for his behavior. Love Yourself. And plenty of other radio hits to help him release his most successful album of all time, Purpose. It's hard for his opposition to feel bad for him when in the end, all of his antics will just help him sell more records. No matter what he does, it will be seen as the wrong step. It's quite literally is the child star curse, because nothing you do will ever compare to how you were introduced to the world as a perfect, innocent child. And with that, he finally stepped out of the spotlight, and when he returned, you could see how bad things really got. First of all, his music got worse. Yummy was terrible. But more importantly, in the press runs that led up to this, you can see Justin physically suffering. His anxiety was so bad to the point where he was constantly fidgeting, slumping over, not looking at people.
What that does to a person's brain at such a young age or any age, when you're surrounded by that kind of noise and excitement for so long. I mean, did you realize that was, I mean, looking back on it, what it was doing to you?
Perhaps the most profound moment was during his Zane Lowe interview when he asked Justin about Billie Eilish, since Billie in 2020 was the 18-year-old pop star who was thrown into the industry very similar to Bieber. Justin felt like he wanted to protect her.
Yeah, so, yeah. I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Just the mere thought of Billy enduring what Justin had to endure brought him to tears, and recalling those dark moments in his life made fans realize that this was not fake. This young man was likely abused by this industry. Justin's antics have slowed down considerably. He is 29, has a child, and a wife he's fully focused on. Does he still have an entitled pop star attitude at times? Absolutely. Does he still have beef with the paparazzi? You bet. Some of you will never see Bieber as anything but a privileged boy who didn't have to put in much hard work to see the heights of the music industry. But even the benefits of his success, being universally loved, being praised, and constantly receiving validation, are also bad. Variety magazine dubbed him a once-in-a-generation superstar who charted a swift and stunning rise from precocious YouTube talent to global phenomenon. How the heck do you live up to that? Bieber was being cheered and rewarded for a smile and a hair flip. The world put him on this unsustainable pedestal, which ultimately caused him to break. All I know for sure is, no money or fame is worth whatever the heck.
But anyway, man, shout out to Justin Bieber, man. You know, I hope I'm glad to see him getting his life together, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure being a child star and to his level, when he was pretty much one of the biggest stars in the world. So I'm pretty sure all that pressure, and I'm not about to say he ain't do no wrong. He definitely done a lot wrong. You know what I'm saying? And but sometimes he just got some unwanted pressure, and you don't know what happened behind the scenes. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, man, shout out to him. Shout out to Patrick CC, and you like my reaction, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.